Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live from the beautiful city of Kansas City, and we are here with game 2 of the day 2 of the 2024 Big 12 Soccer Championships, presented to you by Sprouts Farmers Market. Day 1, we lived 4 games of different emotions, where we saw these Oklahoma State University Cowgirls make a comeback against their fierce rival Cincinnati. Later on in the day, we saw more stories, more emotions, and we are ready to continue broadcasting these emotions to you here on Blaze Radio. We have game 1, Oklahoma State versus BYU on this early Saturday morning. My name is Joao Lara, and I'm here with Luke Lendler. Luke, how are you doing today?
I am doing great, Joao. I'm excited. I'm amped. I am ready for a fantastic day of soccer. We had maybe one of the most thrilling days of soccer that this tournament has seen in a long time for day 1. Really, it was incredible. We had comeback wins, we had great goals, and we had memories for a lot of these teams that played. This Oklahoma State team is one of them. Like you mentioned, down 2-0 in the second half. They scored 3 goals in the last 15 minutes to defeat Cincinnati in the first round. And this team came into this tournament with high expectations. They're a high seeds, 5 seed. It's pretty high for them. They just barely missed out on not getting that first round bye spot. And so, for them to go down 2-0, they were faced with a lot of adversity against Cincinnati, and they found a way to win, especially, scoring late, having that clutch gene. It's an important factor to have in a tournament like this. Today, they're matched up with the BYU Cougars, and this team just finds ways to win. Not necessarily, they're not top 3 in any stat in the Big 12. They're not exceptional in any particular thing, but they just find ways to win. 6-2-3 in the Big 12. That's just one game better than Oklahoma State, hence the 1C difference between the two. Last time these two teams met, it was a 2-2 tie in Provo, Utah on September 26th. And we can't have ties in this tournament. So this game is going to be close. This game is going to be exciting. And I'm riled up and anticipating this one.
Do you think we're going to see the first edition of extra time here in the Big 12 soccer tournament?
With every game that's been close coming down the wire, you think, all right, this is going to be the one. This game's going extra time. It's tied. There's 5 minutes left. What could possibly happen? And then we've seen winner after winner and clutch goal after clutch goal, and we have not seen extra time yet. So, if I want to be smart with my bets, I probably wouldn't bet that this game goes to extra time because, the trends of this tournament say otherwise, because this thing, people sure like to, end it with a late winner here.
And here we have the lineups for both sides. For Oklahoma State, in goal is number 34, Gordon Grace. After that, we have Chloe Wright, Caitlin Hoppers, Molly Brainer, Lawden Wilson, X-Script Pineda, Gracie Bine-Buthel, Alex Morris, Ellie Joffroy, Logan Heisler, and Chloe Joseph. Luke, who do we have for BYU?
In goal for BYU, we have Lynette Hernandez. Avery Fishnecht, is in front of her in defense, one of the stalwart defenders of this BYU system. She's joined by Erin Bailey, Addie Gardner, Ella Rustin, Mika Cromanhook, Presley Freeman, Allie Fryer, Matten Summers, Lucy Kessler, and Mackenzie Vance, the goal-scoring threat up front for the Cougars.
And ladies and gentlemen, the referee blows his whistle here from Kansas City, Missouri, where BYU is now fighting for the ball in the middle, and there will be a foul against number 18, Mia Cromanhook, for the dead ball in the middle of the field. Ball goes wide with Emma Hamberlin. Hamberlin decides to play it down the wing with Ella Rustin. Rustin now playing the ball down the middle with Mackenzie Vance. Vance has to play it back with A.B. Frischnecht. Frischnecht plays it wide to her partner in defense with number 20, Presley Freeman. Ball bounces off an Oklahoma State defender, goes out for the throw-in. And now it will be Freeman with a throw-in. Freeman, ball up in the air. Oklahoma State trying to clear, but we have a moon ball here early in the morning. And it's going to be Alex Morris who loses possession for the Cowgirls and throwing for BYU. Ball now outside the box, number 23, Allie Fryer. Fryer with a nice cross inside. Now rejected by the Oklahoma State defender. Shot is off, and it's going to go ahead and be Mia Cromanhook with the shot for the goal.
As quick as you could possibly have a goal in a tournament like this, it seems. Just a minute and 11 seconds into the match, and BYU taking advantage of an Oklahoma State mistake. The Cowgirls can't clear it, and the Cougars put themselves 1-0 up just a minute and 11 seconds into this match. Wow, that was incredible. We're seeing kind of BYU's strategy, which is just right place, right time. This team doesn't score a lot. This team doesn't, defend exceptionally well, but they're in the right place at the right time, and that's clinical finishing that'll put the Cougars up 1-0.
And that's called being active, being aware. I know that some of us right now definitely aren't that way, especially if you're tuning in from Arizona. I hope you have your coffee ready as Oklahoma State now loses the ball from the kickoff. And it's going to be BYU playing it back with Rustin. Rustin looking for Fryer over the top. Ends up finding Fryer. Fryer against Joseph. Fryer using that physical play to oust past the Canadian defender. Now it's going to go ahead and be Mia Krummenhoek trying to give the ball back to her defender. Ends up ceding possession to Oklahoma State. It's going to go and be Hoppers. Hoppers giving the ball right down the wing to Beinbuethel. Beinbuethel now running towards the center. Gives the ball off to Pineda. Pineda now playing wide with Morris. Morris finding pressure from the BYU defender. Has to play in the middle with Lawden Wilson. Lawden Wilson is depossessed, but there will be a foul called against the Cougars.
And we're trying to see Oklahoma State settle in a little bit. Their offensive, identity here. Usually not a team that's used to playing from behind. They have one of the best goalkeepers in the nation in Grace Gordon. But today they're going to have to search for an equalizer early on.
Free kick, a dead ball from the left side of the box around the 28 yards out. And it's going to go in Pineda. Pineda centering the ball inside the box. Rejected very well by BYU. Finds a foot of Lauren Wilson. Bounces off the BYU defender. It's extra Pineda from distance again. Letting off a shot. Going right past that left post. Oklahoma State is letting off some warning shots here with 42 minutes left to play in the first half.
Oklahoma State being aggressive early. These are two teams that probably didn't want to be seated where they are. BYU came into the season with big expectations. One of the few teams picked to actually win the Big 12 in the preseason coaches poll. Oklahoma State knew they had a great goalkeeper in Grace Gordon and thought, listen, we can build our identity behind this strong defense and perhaps work our way into a top 3 seed in the tournament. Playing in the first round was probably not what they had in mind, all the way back in September. But nonetheless, a comeback win, a nice win for them. And here they are in the second round against probably the best competition they might face, since that last meeting with BYU on September 26th.
As we see BYU trying to charge to the attack with Lucy Kessler. Has to play it off the ball on the back with Freeman. Freeman now playing with Krummenhoek. Krummenhoek depossessed by the Oklahoma State Cowgirls. But nevertheless, BYU regains possession after that slide tackle. Playing down the right side. It's going to go ahead and be Krummenhoek once again. Running down the wing, finding pressure from Lawden Wilson. Lawden Wilson getting a foot off that ball. And now it's Morris who recovers for the Cowgirls. Has a tussle with Addie Gardner. That ball is going to go ahead and go out for a BYU throw-in off the left-hand side near the Oklahoma State box. This could be a dangerous play. Ball now with Krummenhoek. Krummenhoek running down the left wing once again. Ball is going to go and bounce off of Chloe Wright, and it's going to go out for a BYU corner kick. First corner kick of the day here with 40 minutes and 25 seconds left to play in the first half from CPKC Stadium.
It's going to be our first look at how both these teams address the set piece in the Oklahoma end. Oklahoma defensively, one of the best set piece defensive teams in the Big 12, only allowing 1 goal from a set piece this season.
Krummenhoek playing back near that half circle with Kessler. Kessler playing down the wing with Freeman. Freeman charging at the box, letting a center off. Bounces off of Grace Gordon. And BYU finds that loose ball. And it's going to go and be another goal. Exactly 40 minutes left to play. And the Cougars are up by 2. Luke, tell me.
2 goals in 5 minutes, just doing what BYU does best. Right place, right time. A loose ball batted around in the box. Oklahoma State cannot clear it for the second time early in this game, and the Cougars are going to pounce on that opportunity. BYU putting one right in the back of the net off a little toe poke, gliding its way into the top far corner. There's nothing Grace Gordon can do about that. She dove out to get her hands on this cross. She couldn't necessarily, grasp it with 2 hands, but she punched it towards the edge of the 6, thinking, hey, all right, this is going to be fine. They're going to clear it. My defender's going to clear it. Nope, the loose ball is taken by the Cougars, and it's in the back of the net. It's 2-0 BYU.
And it's Krummenhoek once again with right time, right place, right time, and BYU is now winning this by 2. It's Krummenhoek once again on the ball, gets fouled by Chloe Wright. the Oklahoma State defender who has been amazing in the first game. And Oklahoma State needs to find something to get back into this game. It's Rustin. Rustin from the back has to play it with her partner in crime to the defense, Mayton Summers. Summers playing with Krummenhoek. Once again with Summers. Summers with a nice through ball down the middle of the pitch, crossing that center line, and it's going to be Vance. Vance charging towards the BYU box, laying a shot from distance, but it's going to be Grace Gordon in the back, keeping this ball safe within her hands.
And there's the Grace Gordon that we all know. You know, a steady shot stopper, one that is reliable when handling, shots from far away, especially from far away, and close in as well. You know, she's conceded twice here in the first 7 minutes. I wouldn't say neither of those were really her fault. But there's the Grace Gordon that this Oklahoma State team can count on going forward in this game. As, Joao, 2 goals, they say it's the most dangerous lead in soccer, but if you concede a third, you might as well kiss your tournament hopes goodbye.
And that's not far-fetched, especially against a good side like BYU. As we now see Caitlin Hoppers from the throw-in on that right wing in BYU's sector. Gives the ball to extra Pineda. Pineda has to play it back with Joseph. Joseph with the ball over the top, attempting to find Grace Beinbuethel. Bounces off of a BYU defender. It's going to go and be a Oklahoma State throw-in. Once again, Hoppers on the ball. Plays it wide to number 13, Pineda. Pineda once again playing with Heisler. This ball is now back with Joseph. Joseph decides to play with Briner. Briner widens the ball once again to Jeffroy. And now it's Morris on the left wing. Morris trying to play a ball with Heisler once again, but it's recovered by the BYU defense. Great pressure by Oklahoma State to recover that ball, and now it's Alex Morris on the right wing. Giving a nice through ball to Heisler, and she's marked in offside position. So it's BYU from the back.
Just a yard offside there for Heisler. That was a nice build-up play for Oklahoma State. We saw this yesterday when Colorado went down 1-0 to Utah early. That's a defensive team that, was not used to playing so aggressively from behind, as we had a little bit of a tussle in the middle of the field here. Yellow card shown. That'll go on Oklahoma State, so they got to watch themselves there. They don't want to get somebody sent off this early in the game. But Oklahoma State is not a team that is used to pressing, not a team that's used to attacking at a high rate. They like to sit back. They like to rely on Gordon and their strong defense. But, when you're down 2-0 this early in the game, you got to get aggressive. You got to push forward. And so far, we're kind of seeing them create some pretty good chances off some immediate, loose possession, press right away. We're seeing them do pretty well off that so far in this game. I'm interested to see how it might evolve in the second half.
And I'm interested to see how coach in his 20th year, Colin Carmichael, takes on this approach, being down 2-0. 36 minutes left to play here from CPKC Stadium, and it's going to go and be a throw-in for BYU right at that middle line in the center of the pitch. Ball now goes over the top, attempting to find Kessler. Kessler has a tussle. Ball now goes back with the defense, and it's going to go ahead and be Summers. Summers playing it wide with her defensive counterpart, Hamberlin, and this could be a promising attack for BYU. Now it's Krummenhoek. Krummenhoek looking for the cross inside the box, but Morris runs back from that left wing position and boots the ball out for another BYU throw-in, and now it's Ella Rustin on the ball.
And it's Krummenhoek again creating danger for Oklahoma State down that left side. She's been kind of all over the place today, and she's done a really good job finding the back of the net twice. But really the biggest flaw I'm seeing in Oklahoma State's defense so far is they're just letting crosses get in easily. The ball is finding its way to the middle of the box with seemingly no resistance, and there's not a lot that Gordon can do when she's faced with pretty much a one-on-one from about 10 yards away. It's the equivalent of a penalty kick if BYU can settle it and have a shot, which is what they've done twice. And so if Oklahoma State wants to keep BYU at 2 for the rest of the game, they really got to do a better job packing it in and making sure these crosses cannot just go untouched to a BYU attacker in the middle of the box.
Said very well, Luke, as we now see BYU play from the back with Summers. Summers playing it wide down that left side with Ella Rustin. Rustin attempting to find Vance, but instead it's Oklahoma State who recovers the ball. Now it's Heisler. Heisler attempting to play that ball with Gracie Beinbuethel. Beinbuethel can't get a touch on that left foot, and it's going to go ahead and go out for a BYU throw-in. Vance over the top, finding number 23, Fryer. but has a tussle with Joseph. Joseph recovers that ball physically, attempts to play the ball up the field, but it's going to be a BYU ball once again, ball in the air, and it's Kessler who finds it in her feet, decides to play it down the right side with her teammate Addie Gardner. Gardner has to play back with her defender, number 4, Frischnick. Frischnick attempts to play a through ball into Kramenhoek, but it's Oklahoma State recovers. Now it's Morris. Morris trying to put a ball down the middle, but it's recovered once again by Avery Frischnick. Frischnick plays it to Fryer. Fryer with Kramenhoek, and now it's Kramenhoek charging down the middle once again with a nice through ball to Fryer. Fryer inside the box. BYU letting off another shot, but it's Gordon with a solid right hand to send that ball out for the corner kick.
Excellent save by Gordon. That was probably the best save we might have seen in the tournament so far. That was really good. Just a rocket from the middle of the box. Another cross, untouched. Kramenhoek does a really good job playing it through all there to Fryer. Fryer whips one in, excellently just waited, dropped right to the penalty spot. BYU coming to clean it up, put a third one on the back of the net, but a nice save made by Gordon to preserve just a 2-goal deficit for Oklahoma State.
Gardner, short ball with Vance. Vance who led across inside the box. And it was once again Kramenhoek who had the opportunity, but the Oklahoma State defense intervenes very well.
And after a kind of a nice defensive possession there for Oklahoma State, proving, listen, we can stop this BYU attack a couple times. Perhaps that could give them a little bit of confidence moving forward to know that this game is kind of supposed to be on their front foot for the rest of the evening.
Summers recovering in the middle, playing wide with Kramenhoek. Kramenhoek decides to play the ball on the left of Vance, and nice overlapping run from Rustin is cut off by number 14, Gracie Beinbuethel, for a BYU throw-in. Rustin on the ball, playing it with Kramenhoek once again. Has to play that ball back, sends a lob ball over the top with Presley Freeman. Freeman now pushing this ball up the pitch, up that right side, crossing that halfway mark, attempting to find Bailey in the middle, but it is cut off by Oklahoma State. Extra, Pineda. Pineda playing back with Ellie Joffroy. Joffroy playing with Morris. Morris trying to send a long ball down that left wing. Nobody there. That's going to be a BYU throw-in. Avery Frischnick now on the ball.
And in all the games that you and I have called together the previous day, I loved using the analogy of two boxers kind of getting a feel for each other in the ring. And this is the opposite of that. BYU's coming with just 2 haymakers early on, all of Oklahoma State mistakes. And now Oklahoma State really has to punch their way back into it. And they seem to want to do it with long through balls and long shots. And hey, whatever works, works. But if I was Oklahoma State's coach, obviously I'm not a 20-year veteran of college soccer, I would probably instruct my girls to, listen, let's get the first goal through patience. Let's build it up. Let's control possession. Let's do what we do best, and it's hold the ball, and then let's find the back of the net to cut this deficit in half.
And it's going to go ahead and be Kramenhoek with another center, rejected by the Oklahoma State defender, but finds the foot of Addie Gardner, who decides to play it back with Freeman. Freeman sent a nice cross into the box. Doesn't find Bailey. Almost finds Kessler right in front of goal. But it's going to be Grace Gordon who scoops up the ball. And I think you said it very well. They have to find that goal through patience. 31-34 left to play in this first half. BYU winning it 2-0. And Oklahoma State really has a big problem in front of them if they can't find the goal here in this first half.
And another cross that you just mentioned by Kramenhoek, mishandled by an Oklahoma State defender, leaving Gordon in an exposed position. That's just to come out and make another nice save there. She has to be feeling with her defense so far today. I mean, they have not protected her very well. They've left her exposed, and that's the reason we see BYU with a 2-0 lead with 31 minutes left to go. But I think optimism still remains. She's urging her team upfield, and this is an Oklahoma State team. And frankly, this is a tournament that has just, produced magic, has produced goals where we couldn't expect goals, has produced winners where we couldn't possibly expect winners. So this game is far from over with 30 minutes left in the first half.
As we now see Kramenhoek once again decides to play the ball back with Frischnick. Frischnick playing that ball with Fryer. Fryer trying to play that ball wide, but instead it's Beinbuethel intercepts, and Beinbuethel's running towards that BYU box on the right wing. Nice little chop to get past her defender, but even better interception from Mayton Summers. But BYU is complicating themselves in the back, trying to clear that ball out. But now it finds the hands of goalkeeper Lynette Ernez.
And kind of, what everybody might have miss there, even if you were here watching the game. A great tackle by Mackenzie Vance to get the ball back for BYU, being physical and showing the Cougars are not afraid, to get their hands a little bit dirty in the box in order to win that ball back.
Extra Pineda looking and finding Morris. Morris once again with a one-time pass to Pineda. Pineda trying to get past Freeman, and instead it's going to be Oklahoma State who recovers once again. Alex Morris looking for the cross inside the box, rejected by the BYU defender, and now it's BYU's opportunity to push up with Ali Fryer. Fryer facing pressure from Oklahoma State, has to play a ball once again with Frischnick. Frischnick now playing wide with Summers. Summers in the left center back position, giving a nice ball down the middle to Kromenhoek. Kromenhoek facing pressure from Joseph. That ball now goes on the left side with Vance. Vance deciding to play it with Frischnecht. Freeman with Summers, and Summers is going to attempt to find the pass with Vance, and she does successfully. Vance finding pressure right behind her, has to play a ball with Frischnecht. Frischnecht playing wide with Freeman, and once again, Freeman finding Kessler down the middle. Kessler having many options, but decides to play Vance once again down the middle, sends a ball down the right wing. Rustin, who tried to give a nice cross, but instead finds a leg of Lawden Wilson.
The first blocked cross of the day there for Oklahoma State. Lawden Wilson making a nice play to step in front of it. BYU on the other end, Oklahoma State's getting very aggressive, and they had an opportunity to cross the ball in on the other end, and I want to just go back and talk about what just happened on, when Oklahoma State was attacking. They're in the final third, and BYU has one more defender in the box than Oklahoma State has attacker. And instead of turning and watching, the woman they're guarding, BYU instead, they see both. They see the player they're defending and the ball. Oklahoma State has not seen both at any point so far in this game. They've got their eyes either locked on the ball, losing sight of the player behind them, or locked on the player, losing sight of the ball as it scoots in front of them for a goal. That's an adjustment that Cowgirls have to make as this game goes on if they want to just hold these Cougars to 2 goals.
And I find that interesting how you said first blocked cross, and it took them a while with 27 minutes, 45 seconds left to play in this first half. BYU still winning it 2-0, but Oklahoma State finding their footing little by little in this game. Alex Morris has to clear that ball out for a BYU throw-in. Ball now in the box, trying to find Fryer with 2 Oklahoma State players on her. Tries to thread a ball through a needle to Addie Gardner, but instead it's cleared out by the Oklahoma State defense. Finds a foot of Frischnecht. Frischnecht who plays the ball with Warner. Warner who plays with Frischnecht once again. And now the ball is at the feet of Rustin. Rustin playing with Summers. Has to play the ball wide. Ball is now in the middle of Frischnecht. Frischnecht with a nice ball down the middle of the field to Gardner. Gardner has to play it wide with Warner. Warner playing a wide ball to Rustin. And this ball is now near Oklahoma State's box with Vance. But it's gonna go ahead and be Caitlin Hoppers who gets that left foot on the ball for a BYU throw-in on the left wing. Rustin finding Kromenhoek. Kromenhoek fighting between 2 Oklahoma State defenders, and it's gonna go ahead and go out for an Oklahoma State goal kick.
And I've had my fair share to say about the Oklahoma State defense today, but I also want to give a lot of credit to this BYU attack. Their through balls so far today have been perfectly weighted. And, there's a lot Oklahoma State could have done better, but there's also a lot they sometimes can't do when the BYU attack is playing as well as it's playing today. And especially they look clinical in passing. They look clinical in finishing. We've seen 2 good chances converted into 2 goals for the Cougars. And I think what's impressing me the most is every pass seems to have the perfect amount of weight on it, just stopping exactly where the attacker needs it to stop. And it's just... I'm interested to see if they can continue this going, because this is probably the most quality we've seen going forward in this tournament yet.
Said very well, Luke. And now we see Alex Morris, someone who was influential in Game 1 for Oklahoma State, playing a little more defensive. Gives a throw in, and it's now Molly Briner from the back. Briner has to play a ball with Chloe Joseph, who's now facing pressure. Briner's facing pressure too. Evades it very well. Rushing down the middle. Getting between 1, 2, 3 players. Tries to throw the ball through to Lawden Wilson, but instead it's going to find the feet of Alex Morris. Morris with Wilson right inside the box on the left side. Nice half turn from Wilson. Tries to throw the ball through 2 BYU defenders, but now it's BYU who can find themselves on the counterattack.
Oklahoma State playing much more aggressive than we're used to seeing. They're high pressing, and it's leading them to get into the BYU attacking third.
Escret Pineda with Morris. Morris trying to navigate herself through the box, gets between two, falls inside the box. Referee gives no indication of a penalty. BYU having to clear this ball, and it's going to go ahead and be a Oklahoma State throw-in. And 24 minutes left to play in this first half. BYU up 2-0 here from CPKC Stadium. Luke, what else do you think Oklahoma State has to do besides high pressure to possibly get a goal back here in this first half?
They're going to have to be creative because 2 goals, 1 goal you can luck your way into. 2 goals, you really have to work at it. And, they got to win this game, so they got to score a third at some point. And that's where I think the creativity aspect comes into it. They're going to have to use offensive tactics they might not have deployed yet so far this season. They're a team that doesn't score tons of goals, but also really doesn't concede goals at all. So for, how they're going to attack this BYU defense that's been really stout so far today, it falls on them. There's only so much that manager Colin Carmichael can do. It's going to come down to these players at a certain point. They're going to have to be creative and use their minds because this is a very strong team. We saw their ability to score 3 goals and a half on Wednesday, and I think we might end up having to see that again today if they really want to come back and win.
Long ball trying to find Summers. It's intercepted by Joseph. Joseph who cleared the ball, and it was El Rustin who tried to send the ball up the field, but instead it's going to go out for a OSU goal kick with Grace Gordon from the back. Gordon finding Joseph with a short pass on the right side. Joseph trying to send the ball over the top, intercepted very well by Vance, who hits it up with her head. But now it's Joseph with the ball at her feet, loses the ball due to the high BYU pressure.
Wow!
Shot let off from Allie Fryer, and what a goal from BYU to make it 3-0.
Could we say kill shot just 22 minutes into this match? That was incredible. Allie Fryer winding up and just delivering from the outside of the box. She totally caught Grace Gordon slightly off her line. Gordon knew. Gordon saw the turnover. Gordon saw Fryer moving left to right on that inside foot, cutting into the middle of the box. Gordon thought, okay, she's going to bend it into the back corner. It's going to be a high looping curling shot. I'm going to cheat to my left just a little bit. She cheated just a little bit, and that was too much. Fryer saw it, opened her eyes, wound up her leg, and just blasted one into the short corner. Getting beat near post is the goalie's worst nightmare, and I've been a staunch defender of her today, but I got to say that one kind of falls on Gordon.
And a goal that's a product of high pressure. Fryer sees Joseph with the ball, gets a foot on it, steals that ball, and says, well, I'm gonna take it myself. Thank you very much. And BYU, when it seemed that Oklahoma State had the control of the game, BYU just absolutely kills it, as we now see Frischnecht running from the back, playing the ball wide with Freeman. Frischnecht, who is fouled, and it's number 33, Logan Heisler, once again.
And what I'm surprised to see is not a lot of action from the substitutes for Colin Carmichael in Oklahoma State. He's a veteran of college soccer. He's been here before. Then again, you think you get 3-0 down in just 22 minutes. We might have to switch something up in terms of the personnel we have on the field. But no action yet from Carmichael's bench. We'll see if he deploys them well in the second half. But the biggest thing I noticed since BYU even went 1-0 up is they've been playing free. Oklahoma State just looks stunned, looks shocked that they've conceded so soon and that they've conceded in the ways they have. Defensive mistakes, goalkeeping kind of lapses. Also just great shots from BYU. And so as a result, they're playing uptight. They're overthinking. They're not sure what they're doing. BYU right now, they're playing total football. They are just all over the field doing, filling the space, playing the ball however they like because it's working. They're playing with joy. They're playing with passion, and they're playing together, and they're 3-0 up on a good Oklahoma State team just 22 minutes into the match.
There is a substitution that's about to happen for Oklahoma State. Reagan Morris, who is just warming up.
Yeah.
And is now ready to take on the field. It will take a second to see who comes on, or who comes off for Morris.
Morris is a forward. She's a distributor up there at the forward position. 3 assists so far this year. Not a goal yet to her name, but she's featured in 19 games for this Oklahoma State squad. I got to imagine Carmichael's looking for her to be creative and just get other players open, perhaps take one for herself. But this is an important change because now we're seeing a little bit switch up here, an appearance from Reagan Morris. But at the end of the day, it's Oklahoma State, and they got to score. And they really can't concede again. Just 20 minutes into the game, they've kind of used up all their, I wouldn't even say they're free passes, but they've used up kind of all their leeway here. 3 goals down. I feel like you got to get one before halftime if you want to get your way back into this game.
Said very well, and it's going to be Logan Heisler who comes off for Reagan Morris. As we now see ball threaded through to Reagan Morris. Reagan Morris running down the right side of the field, but ball is hit out by Ella Rustin.
Morris already doing a pretty good job making her presence felt.
As we now see extra Pineda. Pineda having to play the ball back with Joseph. Joseph now playing the ball with Briner. Briner lifting her head and sending a nice ball over the top to the right side near that right wing to number 14, Gracie Brian Boltel. Now playing the ball with Alex Morris on the left wing. Morris finding pressure, using physicality, trying to thread through two, but instead it's going to be hit out by a BYU defender for an Oklahoma State throw-in down that left side of the pitch. Alex Morris. Morris finding Lauren Wilson. Nice ball threaded through, trying to find Reagan Morris. Hit off of a BYU defender once again for a Oklahoma State throw-in near the box on that left side. Morris lifting her head and finding X-Grip Pineda near the touchline. Finding Morris once again. Cross let inside the box. And first action for Lynette Hernez.
Yeah, Hernez is the first we've kind of seen her need to be used. First, wouldn't even say shot on goal, just first slightly threatening chance in the box for the Cowgirls. Hernez is reliable back there for Coach Jennifer Rockwood. She started 18 games this season. She's got 62 saves, save percentage in the 700s. Allowing just 25 goals in 18 starts. Transfer from Washington State, native of Corona, California. She's just a sophomore and will be with this program for many years to come. You got to think Rockwood in her 30th year as BYU head coach likes what she sees from her netminder so far today.
And really only one senior on this BYU squad, so they're in good hands for the future. They should be a strong program for years to come. And there is going to be another substitution for Oklahoma State. Coming on, number 21, Taryn Tebow, and coming off, number 8, Caitlin Hoppers. 18 minutes left to play from CPKC Stadium, where BYU is currently leading 3-0. Yes, 3-0 with 2 unfortunate goals for Oklahoma State, but one absolute banger for BYU. BYU from the back with Hernez. Hernez lifting her head and finding Frischknetz on the right side. Ball now wide with Freeman, and Freeman has to play this ball with Maiden Summers. Summers with the ball over the bottom with Ella Rustin. Ella Rustin attempting to find a left-footed pass down the wing. Ball doesn't go out of bounds, and it's now 2 players who go to fight for it. But instead, it's going to go ahead and be Chloe Joseph, who hits the ball out for a BYU throw-in.
And Joseph there was looking at the ball, expecting to go out, doesn't go out, runs over, and just does nothing but poke it 1 foot out of bounds. I understand she had a little bit of pressure on her back from Fryer. But you're down 3-0. You got to be a little bit more creative. You can't just be giving BYU throw-ins in your attacking third. You have to, try to control possession and hold the ball a little bit more. Because in doing that and making that move, you now just give possession right back to the Cougars, who have done a very good job not ceding it to the Cowgirls so far today.
And now we see Frischknecht playing the ball wide with Summers. Summers now to that left wing with Ella Rustin. Rustin finding Sierra Penick. Penick playing with Vance. Vance once again with Rustin. And BYU playing a little bit of keep away here in the middle. Once again, ball with Penick. Ball has to go back and find Summers. Summers with Frischknecht. Frischknecht with time and space. Lifts her head up with a nice left-footed pass to Summers. Now ball now played with Mika Krummenhoek down that right wing. Krummenhoek charging towards the box. Beating 1-2 defenders with a nice cross. Finding Allie Fryer for her second goal of the game. Another BYU goal. And this is a rout now, ladies and gentlemen. BYU is unleashed and they're looking for more.
4-0 in just 30 minutes of play. This is Cougars are running riot here in CPKC Stadium, and hats off, just got to go to Cromanhook. She's been incredible all day, pacing her way around Oklahoma State defenders, putting the ball in the middle of the box. The Cowgirls are calling a meeting here to kind of talk it over in their third, but really, what's done is done. They've conceded 4 now. It's been half an hour, and they've conceded 4 goals. It's going to take a comeback of otherworldly proportions to even give themselves a chance in this game. A nice finish by Fryer, but an even better run by Cromanhook, who, without a doubt, is the player of the match so far today.
Cromanhook, 2 goals, 2 assists, and BYU is showing a display of peak efficiency. 6 shots, 5 shots on target with a 4-goal lead, as we now see BYU try to find another attack from the top. And now it is Oklahoma State with Beinbuethel. Beinbuethel threading a ball to the middle with Pineda. Pineda finding pressure, has to lift her head, find Chloe Wright. Once again, Wright playing Morris down the right wing. And Morris is finding pressure, has to play Wright once again. Wright with the ball that had too much power, bounces off of Gracie Beinbuethel, and it's going to be a BYU throw-in down the left-hand side. Now on that left side touchline, it's going to go and be Rustin. Rustin with the ball over the top, attempting to find Pennick, intercepted very well by Oklahoma State's defense. And it's Extra Pineda who has to play with Briner. Briner, the center back from Broken Bow, Oklahoma, decides to play with Joseph. Joseph finding Morris. Morris finding Beinbuethel. Beinbuethel trying to play Morris once again, but the ball is going to go ahead and go out for BYU once again on the left-hand side. And there is going to be 2 substitutions for Oklahoma State and 1 substitution for BYU.
Carmichael not playing around. His entire bench up and jogging, even the backup goalkeeper. I mean, this team, wow, this team's just been socked in the mouth early on, down 4-0 in just half an hour of play. They really, if they want to give themselves any hope in the second half, they really got to get one here before the halftime whistle.
And coming on for Extra Pineda for Oklahoma State, it's Bella Pirati. BYU, who had the ball inside their box, one of the rare occasions in this game, has to hit the ball out. And the substitution for BYU is going to go ahead and be number 10, Caroline Stringfellow, who comes on for number 8, Sierra Pennick. Oklahoma State now playing right outside BYU's box, has to play it back. And it's going to go ahead and be Molly Briner now on the ball. Looking over the top for who seems to be Morris. Ball is now with number 12, Nicole Ray. Ray playing it wide, finding Morris. Morris with the cross inside the box. Complication for BYU. And
maybe the best attacking chance we've seen from Oklahoma State so far comes right there. Still can't get a shot on goal, or even a shot, but nonetheless, this team has quality. It really does. It just seems to be a perfect storm for the Cougars to be leading 4-0 so far in this one.
Foul now against BYU. It's going to go ahead and be a dead ball. 13 minutes, 45 seconds left to play. The Cougars are now winning this game 4-0. As we now see number 12, Ella Rustin, on the ball down that right-hand side. Intercepted very well by Oklahoma State University. And a nice little move from Nicole Ray to get past 2 BYU defenders. Finds another 2, and BYU is going to recover this ball. Now it's going to be Frischnitt. Frischnitt playing the ball wide with Rustin. And Rustin lifting her head, playing a ball through to Warner. And now it's recovered by Oklahoma State. Briner, who was there, right place, right time, just to scoop up that ball and hits it out for another BYU throw-in down the left-hand side. This time in Oklahoma State territory. Now has to play the ball back with Summers. Summers finding pressure from Morris, but instead, with a nice little half turn, evades pressure, gives a pass off to Sierra Pennick in the middle, and now it is Mayton Summers with the ball once again in the back. Playing wide with Rustin. Rustin beating Bella Pirati through speed. Now threads the ball through the middle to her teammate. But this ball is now going to be Oklahoma State's as it's cleared. Ball up to Morris. Alex Morris with Reagan Morris. Morris who tried to send the ball up the pitch to who seems to be Lexi Lee. Now it's going to go out for a BYU throw in down the left-hand side once again. And now it is Alex Morris trying to give a cross into the box to her teammate Lexi Lee. Was out of bounds, and it's going to go ahead and be a BYU throw-in.
Oklahoma State just, I'm interested to get this box score at halftime because it feels like their possession in the BYU final third has been almost non-existent so far. Maybe 2 good attacking chances down there. But BYU continues to play like not like they're 4-0 up, but like they're 4-0 down. You know, aggressive attacking, getting whatever they want. They clearly want to make this a massacre here in Kansas City.
And you said it correctly yourself as we now find Sierra Pennick charging down the left side of the box, letting off a right-footed shot, going right over the bar. BYU looking for that 5th goal. And really, they want to have a statement win against a good rival to let squads such as TCU and Texas Tech that they're here to play.
They want to let everybody know. They want to just let them know. Like, this is a BYU team that was picked highly to finish preseason. You know, the 4 seed is pretty high in what is a deep league. But also, you know, this team wanted to be the 1 seed. They wanted to be the 2 seed, and they're kind of establishing themselves. Listen, because the winner of this game could very well get 1 seed TCU in the next round. I don't want to speak, you know, for the Buffs of Colorado. That should be an excellent game. Calling that later today. Very excited for that one. But I think BYU knows who they want. They want TCU. They want that matchup with the number 1 team in the league and one of the top 25 teams in the country. And they're showing that, you know, they have quality and they have clinical and wow. I mean, Cromanhook is a player to watch and a player to be feared for this BYU Cougars team. They are not afraid to run this score up. You know, they could win 10-0 and they would still be attacking like it's 0-0 or it's 1-1 in the 90th minute.
As we now see Bella Pirati charge up the field for Oklahoma State. Plays the ball off to Lexi Lee. Lexi Lee finding pressure from 1, 2, 3, 4 BYU defenders. Has to play the ball back with her partner, Kate Dreyer. Dreyer now playing a wide ball into the middle to Nicole Ray. Nicole Ray navigating between 2 BYU defenders. Gives the ball off to Lexi Lee. Lee has to play with Briner. Briner, the center back who's playing in the midfield, sends a ball into the box for Morris. And it's the first registered shot on target for Oklahoma State with 9 minutes and 35 seconds left to play here in the first half.
And listen, that's what they got to do. They got to just send the ball into the box, hope something deflects their way, hope something ends up their way. They realize that 4 goals is a lot, and you just got to just put the ball in the box and hope something happens right now if you're Oklahoma State. The time for patience is gone, and the time for praying for luck is upon us.
And now it's Nicole Ray who's fighting Frischnick for the ball. Frischnick has no other option, lets it out for a Oklahoma State throw-in down the right-hand side. And it's going to go ahead and be number 21, Taryn Tebow, who gives the ball to Morris. Morris trying to find Reagan Morris inside the box. And it's once again Ernez who keeps the ball in her hands safely. And it's BYU from the back. Now we see Frischnecht. Frischnecht plays the ball with Freeman. Freeman once again with Frischnecht. Frischnecht pushing this ball up the field. Now crossing the halfway line. Oklahoma State not pressuring, and this could be dangerous. As we now see Gardner. Gardner right outside the box. Plays it wide to Pennick. Pennick once again with Gardner. Gardner now with a through ball into the box for BYU. Here's another shot, but Grace Gordon gets a right-handed save off of that shot. Has to send it out for another corner kick. Third one for the Cougars in this matchup.
Nice save there by Gordon. Once again, kind of moving before the shot. Tried to anticipate that the thing was going to swing to the back post. Takes 1 step to her left. Has to recover and dive back to her right and parry that ball away with her right glove. A good save for her. And really, I mean, at this point, it's desperation mode for Oklahoma State. They cannot concede again.
Neff coming on for Freeman and Akinaka coming on for Gardner for the BYU Cougars. As we now see them play the ball down the right-hand side of the pitch. Nice little nutmeg by Pratt to get inside the box. Let off a shot, and it's Grace Gordon once again with a diving save on that left post to send the ball out for another BYU corner kick. 7 minutes, 20 seconds left to play from CPKC Stadium, and these Cougars cannot be stopped. As we now see Sierra Pennick attempt the corner kick here. Ball going straight into the middle of the box. Does go over everyone. Ends up finding Freeman down the left side of the box. Ball bounces off of ball bounces off of an Oklahoma State defender. Goes out for a BYU throw-in. Too much power on that throw-in from Ella Rustin. Ball is going to go out for an Oklahoma State goal kick. Grace Gordon down the ball. And the next matchup should be exciting too, Luke. TCU versus Colorado.
Yeah, the winner of this gets the winner of that. It's four good teams that we've seen. Maybe not necessarily illustrated by the current scoreline, but should result in a pretty exciting semifinal match based on those two winners.
Correct. As we now see BYU try to start something from the back, it's Ernais. Ernais now playing with Freeman. Freeman pushing the ball up the field and finding Vance. Vance now near that left side touchline, but it's recovered by Alex Morris, and BYU tries to launch a counterattack here. Alex Morris with a nice cut to the left, now playing the overlapping run with Reagan Morris. Reagan Morris trying to send a cross inside the box, bounces off of Mayton Summers, and it goes out for the first Oklahoma State corner kick of the game.
I was just about to ask you, Joao, this is the first OK State corner that we've seen for the Cowgirls. Yeah, I'm interested to see how they can attack this. Not often a set-piece scoring team in the regular season, but desperate times call for desperate measures. And if they could find their way to a goal here, we could have conversations about them making this a game in the second half.
As we now see Pineda from the corner kick. Left-footed cross, finds Alex Morris. Bounces off of two BYU defenders. And BYU with the goal kick here. First clear opportunity for Oklahoma State.
Mr. Lahr, I'm honestly surprised that wasn't a penalty, or at least isn't going to be looked at. I mean, Alex Morris was in the box, got two shoulders into her back, and fell over. And I understand she probably wanted to sell a little bit. She wanted the contact. She wanted a cheap goal. But you got to at least look at that. If you're Oklahoma State, we've seen VAR be deployed in this tournament so far. You know, giving a red card in the Baylor versus Arizona game last night, and you know, Oklahoma State not happy with the refereeing right now, which understandable. I don't think the refereeing makes 4 goals, but I can understand where their frustrations are coming from.
You're right, and I mean, whenever you're down even 1-0, I mean, those are things you still have to look at, and it's rare to see the VAR deployed here from CPKC.
Regardless, I feel like that's the kind of situation where you got to look at and you got to say, we got to do our due diligence here. Like, the whole point of VAR is for the most accurate refereeing. And when it's a situation like that, the referee was on the other side of the box. He might not have gotten the best vantage point. You know, we want the fairest game. We want the best called game. So I feel like just looking at it would have gone a long way.
As we now see Molly Briner on the ball, playing it to Pirati in the middle. Now wide ball to Alex Morris, who can't get a touch on that right foot. It's going to go ahead and go out for a BYU throw-in once again on that left touchline in their own half. How many times have I said that line today, Luke?
It's gone out of bounds a lot on this left touchline. And we haven't seen the ball go far and wide to the opposite side of the field very often. At this point, 3:25 left in the half. Oklahoma State just doing their best to avoid another disaster. I think they can maybe, with how well BYU is controlling possession, perhaps not necessarily feel confident they'll score here before half, but they just got to avoid disaster and avoid another concession.
Correct. And as we now see Rustin trying to play a ball over the top, ball was bouncing on that touchline. Nobody ends up touching it, and it's going to go ahead and be a Oklahoma State throw-in now from this right-handed side. Ball finds Lee. Lee finds Pirati. Ball is now sent up the field. Bounces between two BYU defenders, but it's Nicole Ray with the ball. Ray with Lee. Lee with Pirati. Pirati has to play it wide with Alex Morris. Now finds pressure of two BYU players. They sort of closed her off in a corner there, but this could be a dangerous attack. Nice through ball into the box by BYU, and it's going to go ahead and be a shot that's blocked by Gordon. A shot that didn't have that much power. I think JC Wood was looking for direction there on that shot.
That was honestly, Wood, the shot to me doesn't necessarily register in my mind. The fact that an attacker for a team up 4-0 in a match can just blitz her way by the entire back line of Oklahoma State just, I think, goes to show the reason why the Cowgirls are down 4 in this match. There's no need for this back line to be giving up, these free runs, these attackers that are literally just outpacing them, out-hustling them, outworking them, when, frankly, this Oklahoma State team, with their season on the line, should be beyond desperate to defend hard, attack aggressively, and find the ball into the back of the net here in Kansas City.
So does this dawn the question, is it BYU's offense or is it Oklahoma State's defense?
I think we're seeing so far today it's a combination of both. We've seen just some incredible offensive runs made by Cromanhook especially. She's still amazing, me for how well she's played today. But at the end of the day, Oklahoma State's defense has been good all season, and BYU's offense has been, fine all season. Obviously, it's a talented unit. It's a unit that we knew was going to be pretty good, but stats-wise, they're not top 3 in any really major counting stat offensively. And so for them to have the success they've had today, that has to be due to some defensive laps from Oklahoma State. At the end of the day, it seems to be strength on weakness, so you have to say it's a little bit of both. But I am more, after the fourth goal, I am more impressed with the BYU offense than I am, unimpressed by the Oklahoma State defense. My point more resides in the fact that Oklahoma State isn't showing grit or effort right now in a game where they need to be playing like their season depends on it, because it does.
Playing a 3-line, hopefully we can see a difference here. It's actually still a 4-line. Oklahoma State needs to do those little changes. 35 seconds left here in the first half. Going into the second half, that team talk needs to be incredible. That team talk needs to get them going once again so you could try to find at least a way. Polish up that scoreline if you can't come back, and it's going to be a tough one.
And just thinking about how quickly and efficiently BYU scored in that first half, it's just hard for me to fathom and put in my mind how Oklahoma State would do it. Just 4 goals is so many. Just get back and equalize the match, much less win it. Just in my mind, I'm thinking, how are they going to do this? They don't seem to have a Cromanhook level difference maker on this team, or at least one that's showed herself so far. But they're here to talk it over at halftime. They're down 4-0. They got a second half. The season doesn't end now. It ends in 45 minutes. So we'll see if Oklahoma State can really work their way back into it. But right now, it's just been the Cougars running riot in Kansas City.
So just to give a little recap of this first half, BYU is currently leading this game 4-0 against Oklahoma State University. Goal 1 was at the feet of Mika Cromanhook at the minute mark with 9 seconds. The second goal was at the 4-minute and 59-second mark, once again from Mika Cromanhook. The third goal was at the 21-minute, 9-second minute mark with Ali Fryer. And finally, that last goal was at the 28-minute, 22-second mark with Ali Fryer once again, and an assist from Mika Cromanhook.
Special half for her, just a special one.
Lots of appearances on that stat sheet. But ladies and gentlemen, BYU currently wins this 4-0. Let's see if Oklahoma State can do something differently in this second half. My name is Joel Lara. I'm here with Luke Lendler, and we'll be right back after a brief break.
I thought I released a good album until Naughty Step said it was bad.
I hear this project and I am frustrated.
I better listen to Blaze Radio.
Hi, I'm Pedro. Did you know you can listen to anything? Blaze Radio says you can, and so do I. I believe that until listened to, every song, album, EP, and DJ set is hot until proven otherwise.
And that's why I fight for you, headbangers. Hot FM.
Hot FM on Blaze Radio. Listen live every Monday at 11 a.m. on blazeradioonline.com. That's blazeradioonline.com.
Is what I wanted, is what I've been waiting for these cars to come off of this corner. And guys, it's showtime. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Ooh, let's go racing today, boys.
Are you a racing fan or want to learn more about the sport? Join Cooper Burns and Eric List every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Blaze Radio as they discuss everything from NASCAR to dirt racing and more on Fuel for Thought.
How to throw a football. How to hit a baseball off a bat. How to make a basketball go through the hoop and make that swish sound. These are all questions we wonder when we are learning how to play a sport. But have you ever wondered what it may be like to interview someone who is in the sports industry? Like, how do I become a broadcaster? How do I become a graphic designer? How do I become a public address announcer? It's all here. How to Sports, your go-to sports industry leading show here on Blaze Radio and BlazeRadioOnline.com. Tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. with Ryan Pesesnik, Max Williams, and Tyler Wargo. How to Sports. It's in the game.
Grab your mates and join us for the finest sports show on Blaze Radio, The Irish Hello.
With the wisdom of the Irish duo, you'll have the knowledge of old pals at the pub, sharing each and every moment.
Join Aidan O'Neill and Shay Maloney every Wednesday night from 8:30 to 9:30 for breakdowns of sports news across the world as a pot of gold awaits.
Welcome to 4 on 4, where we have all 4 experts on the 4 major sports. Join Sammy Newt, Dylan Wickman, Justin DeHaas, and Sean Brennan on Blaze Radio as they break down an exciting semester of sports that includes the MLB postseason, top NFL storylines, the biggest offseason news from the NBA and NHL, and anything relevant happening in the sports world. At the end of the day, we're just 4 roommates that love to talk sports, so join the conversation. Listen live on BlazeRadioOnline.com every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Arizona time, or if you missed us, check us out on Spotify, where you can hear all of our shows.
Hi, I'm Casey McNulty.
And I'm Brooklyn Cohen.
And welcome to The Hot Seat, where each week we answer your burning sports questions. Want to hear us settle sports debates and talk about our biggest takes in the sports world? Well, we've got you covered.
As 2 former athletes and current sports journalists, we offer the perspective of what it's like to be on the field or court
or pool.
So tune in every week at 10 a.m. on BlazeRadioOnline.com.
See you in the hot seat.
Coming this fall, Friday Night Lights Camera Action, Blaze Radio's premier sports movie talk show returns.
There's no crying in Friday Night Lights Camera Action.
If you ain't first, then watch Friday Night Lights Camera Action.
Guys, there are rich teams and there are poor teams. And then there's 50 feet of crap. And then there's people who don't watch Friday Night Lights Camera Action.
Remember the time Friday Night Lights Camera Action showed up at halftime and Blaze Radio won the Bourbon Bowl? Friday Night Lights Camera Action, Friday starting at 9 p.m. Arizona time on BlazeRadioOnline.com.
Now go out there and take it.
What's up, everyone? Life is confusing, so I, Natalia Marin, have decided to answer some of life's wonders, asking the question, does it work? AKA the name of my new show, Does It Work? Will have fun conversations featuring my hours of research, evaluating if cultural phenomenons, government systems, and psychological theories actually work. Make sure to listen live every Monday at 9 a.m. on BlazeRadioOnline.com to see, if it works.
Just a music show on Tuesdays from 3:30 to 4:30. A show about sampling. Hosted by a city boy named Shane Saya. Talking about free samples.
Ever feel like you don't quite fit the mold?
A Little Unorthodox breaks it completely.
Join us as we dive into the messy intersections of faith, identity, and culture with stories that don't always follow the rules.
From in-depth interviews
to live event coverage,
we're here to explore what it really means to belong or not.
Join us, Emily Fox-Million
and Abe Mogelson,
on Sunday at 11 a.m.
Because sometimes the best way to make sense of it all is by getting a little unorthodox.
Yes, sir. Nah, I'm hearing what you're saying, but what's your take though? Yeah, he's cool, but Heisman? That team don't got nobody on there who could shoot any type of threes. I'm supposed to believe they're a playoff team? You're not answering the question. The question is, who is the better football team right now? Hey, I like that take right there. And it's not even close. What are we talking about? There's no midfielder as naturally talented as him in the last 20 years. Tune in to Let's Talk Takes every week, hosted by me, Devin Henderson, where I bring in different guests each week and we debate the most pressing topics in a variety of sports. I'm talking NFL, NBA, college basketball, college football. We even gonna talk about some soccer. Tune in every week, Thursday, 2 to 3 p.m. right here on BlazeRadioOnline.com.
Hey, it's me again. It's your good friend, Max Cepeda. And the only guarantee I can give you is this. Any Tuesday night, anything can happen.
God, you're so good at interviewing, Max. Someone give him an award.
It ain't about the game, it's about the game. You feel me, Max?
That's no,
it ain't about the game, it's about the game.
She decided she was too good for Disney, and I was like,
she wins no matter what. Taylor
crazy.
Swift is always right.
Blaze Radio presents The World According to Zippy, Season 3. Tuesdays at 8 p.m. only on Blaze Radio and BlazeRadioOnline.com and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, why are you crying?
Charlie Blackmon's gone!
What do you mean Charlie Blackmon's gone? You got Zach Veen that will be ready to be called up in center field.
Who's Zach Veen?
You get to hear all about Zach Veen every Monday from 8 to 9 on Up on Deck on Blaze Radio.
Every Monday, baby!
The following is the Fatal 4-Way Podcast, and it is scheduled for one fall.
Join Luke Carter, Justin Lacertosa, Luca Lindo, and Dylan Oliver every Monday from 4 to 4:30, where we talk about all the high-flying, table smashing, eyebrow raising, limousine riding action, and professional wrestling.
Welcome to your favorite show where everything is untitled, unscripted, and unhinged.
Us Podsmiths and Yes Podsmiths are what professional podcasters are called. Let's just say we're your favorite Podsmiths.
On our show, we discuss a variety of different topics and segments, from the latest news to your favorite tunes.
And it's not just us. Every week we bring in a special guest to shake things up.
So join me, CJ Stevenson,
and me, Kate Nakamura, every Monday at 4:30 p.m. on Blaze Radio.
Hey ya! Want to stay up to date with what's up in the gaming industry? Want to listen to a girl yap about her gaming opinions and hot takes? Then tune in Wednesdays at 4 p.m. for Power Up on BlazeRadioOnline.com to join me, Chaz Alvin, as I walk you through the latest and greatest in gaming news, from PC to console, from indie to AAA, while also discussing what makes video games such an interesting and engaging art form. See you then!
We listen to the show for magic. We listen to the A-list to rant, to laugh, to argue, because we need that, all of us.
That indescribable feeling we get when the on-air sign lights up and we review movies you've probably seen before.
Not just entertained, but somehow informed. Much more than new. 12 noon, every single Tuesday.
Somehow, from Larissa, Gibbs, Zach, and Spencer, our show feels like you're talking to the 4 worst people you know. Because here, you are.
The A-List. We make movies worse.
Howdy everyone, it's Jack Footer, aka J-Foo, and I'm here to let you know the J-Foo Show is back. Every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, I'll be playing you fantastic tunes from the J-Foo theme of the week to get your Sunday fun day off and rolling and make you feel good. So tune in to the J-Foo Show every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock right here on Blaze Radio, streaming.
Welcome back to CPKC Stadium here on the banks of the Missouri River. My name is Luke Lendler. I am joined by Joao Lara. We are here for the second half of the first game of the second day of the 2024 Big 12 soccer tournament, brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market. Joao, we had a dominant first half performance from the Brigham Young University Cougars. They lead the Oklahoma State University Cowgirls 4-0 with 45 minutes left to go in the matchup of this year's 4 seed and 5 seed. What did you see from the Cougars in the first half that led to this scoreline?
Well, the Cougars, the first 2 goals were right place, right time. They had mounted on the attack very well, playing down the wings. Now, finding the crosses inside the box, they played off of Oklahoma State's weakness. They saw that they couldn't clear the ball. They saw that they couldn't, play together as a unit in the back. So they would just play the cross. Eventually 2 goals happened thanks to Crumman Hook. And the third goal was just high pressure. And really they just played together well as a team, and that's what's been helping.
It's been one of the best performances in the first half we've seen from BYU this entire year, not just in this tournament, as Oklahoma State begins the half with a bit of a build-up possession, and now a throw-in from the edge of BYU's attacking third. They used, Coach Colin Carmichael in his 20th year as coach of this Cowgirls roster used his subs a little bit more in the first half than he usually does. He's not usually one to bring on new faces and substitutions, but he tapped into the bench early on in that half. It made sense considering they conceded 3 in the first half, as there's a foul close to the halfway line committed by Iskare Pineda. It will be BYU kick, and they'll just do their best to kind of build up, hold possession from the back. Joao, how does Oklahoma State fight their way back into this game?
Oklahoma State needs to involve players such as Alex and Reagan Morris, send them up, invite them to go play. Therefore, you have explosive players down the wing, and not just that. You need to get X-Ray the ball. Morris, X-Ray, and someone else scored for Oklahoma State in the first game, and it was because they fed them the ball. It's because they were playing high up, and they need to stop playing this defensive role, especially when you're down 4 goals.
Frischnick tried to work it to Crumman Hook to attack up the middle for BYU, but Crumman Hook's pass deflects off foot and goes out of bounds. It'll be an Oklahoma State throw on the far side. The throw-in is completed, but not much done with the pass, trying to look up ahead and through ball, but ultimately Taryn Tebow is unsuccessful for the Cowgirls. It'll be back at the feet of Frischnick. She's going to work it up. A nice through ball to the far wing. Here come the Cougars. They build it up. Nice through ball down to the corner flag. Vance is trying to get there before the ball goes out of bounds. She does successfully. The Cougars working their way into the corner flag, now passing it back to the edge of the 18. Here's Rustin with it. She gets it back to Vance. Now Vance turns the corner, attacks into the box. Vance could cross it here. She spins, cuts on her outside foot. Could have one from distance. She does, and it goes into the back of the net. You talked about right place, right time. Mackenzie Vance just floating across in. Every single Oklahoma State player just stares at it. Ball goes in the back of the net. It is now 5-0 Cougars. Wow. 2 minutes and 10 seconds into the second half, they make it 5. How does that even happen?
You mentioned it in the first half. It's playing strengths with weaknesses. BYU sees that Oklahoma State is weak in the back. They're not cooperating within themselves very well. Vance sees that, takes the time, takes the space, and really it's also the deflection. The goalkeeper had her eyes on something else too. She had something in her way, so she couldn't really see that shot.
I think Grace Gordon was anticipating a header or a deflection of some sort. She stood in the middle of her line, kind of on her toes, waiting for the ball to change paths, but it never did. It just found the side netting, and BYU, with their 10th shot of the game, their 9th on target, in just 48 total minutes of play, now leads the Oklahoma State Cowgirls 5-0 with 42 minutes and 13 seconds left in this half. As Oklahoma State gets a throw in towards the halfway line, they try to head it on in the direction of Taryn Tebow, but they end up not finding success. It'll go out of bounds in favor of BYU. It'll be Cougar ball and a Cougar throw in on the far side. Joao, we've seen some crazy things happen in this stadium. How crazy and how possible would an Oklahoma State comeback here be?
It's a beautiful game, and as a fan of the game, I would say I'd love to see Oklahoma State come back. But being realistic and seeing the way that things are going, it's close to none. I think the chances are close to none, and it's going to be very difficult for Oklahoma State to get 1 goal, let alone get 5.
They've shown to kind of turn up the aggression a little bit more after conceding, but still they have a 0 on the score sheet for their entire squad so far. But the Pokes are going to look to fight their way back into it, and they get an advantageous foul call off of a throw-in. So it looks like we're going to see Caitlin Hoppers take this free kick from distance. Just Oklahoma State at this point shoving bodies into the box, just telling, Coach Colin Carmichael, just telling everybody, get in the box. Gotta just hope that we can create something here, create some kind of magic as the ball is swung in to the box, looking for a body down there. It could be headed on, and it's just a little bit wide. Lawden Wilson got her head on it, but will end up just tipping it. Oh, they're going to say it was deflected off a BYU player, and it'll be a corner kick. Nonetheless, Wilson falls to the ground, is holding her head, is holding her forehead with injury. So it'll be a stoppage of play as the trainers are motioned to potentially come onto the field.
And those are things you never like to see in a game. Hopefully Wilson is all right, but the referee is now letting the trainer know to come on, and it's very unfortunate for Lawton Wilson, who has been amazing for the Cowgirls this season.
She started all 20 games for them. You know, she's got 5 goals, 9 assists. She's one of their best goal-scoring threats. Just trails Iskare Pineda in terms of goals scored for this team. She's down now. You never want to see a head injury, especially in any sport, especially a sport like soccer.
And head injuries have changed careers of players too. I hope this one isn't as severe, but it just emphasize what the dangers of head injury are, not only in soccer but in football and baseball, every sport,
She's up now as to the smattering applause from those in attendance in the game today. She's walking off the field right now. She's walking straight, walking under her own power. She's just holding her fingers to her forehead a little bit, perhaps feeling a little bit of a headache as Oklahoma State prepares to bring on a sub. It'll be Nicole Ray, one of our first looks at the Alpine, Utah native. I'm sure she considered going to BYU at some point coming out of high school.
And
she's a goal scorer. She's got 5 goals, 2 assists. You're replacing one 5-goal scorer with another. So she definitely brings an attacking threat here at Oklahoma State as they're going to try this corner. It'll be Pineda to take. She'll swing it to the far side of the box. Body's flying. Ball goes up, and it's controlled and saved nicely by Lynette Hernez. And just her second shot, faced of the day, and her second save needed.
And that was an interesting stat that you brought up with Lawton Wilson and with Nicole Ray and with Extra Pineda, but that's also concerning if I'm if I'm part of Oklahoma State. The only other person who has more goals than Extra Pineda is Lawton Wilson, and even then I feel like your wingers would have to have more contributions than your center mid, Luke.
Yeah. It's you're right. And at this point, trailing 5-0 in a tournament in a win or go home setting, there's kind of no we'll get them next time. There's no moral victory. You got to win this game or you got to lose it. And so for Oklahoma State, if they really want to come back, they're going to have to just get contributions from anybody and everybody. As there's a nice attack by BYU. Fryer cuts in her inside foot, puts it in the middle of the box, looking for Croman hook. But it's deflected and will dribble towards the sideline. It's out of bounds. Last touch by BYU. It'll be Polk's ball going down the other way.
And Oklahoma State still continues to play the same ball. They keep on falling to BYU individual pressure, which I think has been absolutely.
It's been stellar today.
Yeah, it's
done a very good job. Forcing turnovers, doing its job. Molly Briner, defender, wearing number 9, not a number we often see with defenders, will take the free kick. She'll send it up ahead to Pineda, who will turn and look for options. Cuts it inside. Now swings it to the middle of the field. It was Jeffrey. Jeffrey now gets to Tebow. Tebow on this left wing, near side, closest to us. She'll work it back towards the middle of the field. It's at the feet of an Oklahoma State player who immediately turns it over. Croman now offering pressure. Still batted around, unsure of who will maintain possession, but it'll fall to Fryer, and here come the Cougars. Fryer crosses the halfway line, drifting towards the far side, and plays the ball a little bit wide, as here's the build-up. It's with Rustin now. Rustin looking for options. Still send it through. A nice through ball to Fryer. Got in behind the defensive Hayward. Fryer in the middle of the box. There's just kind of nobody there. For once today, we see a BYU cross find the middle of the box. I mean, again, threatening position, but this time, nobody there to clean it up for the Cougars. It'll harmlessly roll out of bounds off an Oklahoma State deflection. And it'll be a BYU throw-in inside the attacking third with 38:15 left, and the Cougars leading 5-0.
And that's the type of ball that BYU is going to continue to play. Really, they're just looking for anybody inside the box. They're packing inside that box every time they go attack, taking 1, 2, 3 players. And their thought process is, if it goes past 1, there's other 2 options. And Oklahoma State, they've messed up multiple times today. It's possible that they mess up again, and they're going to try to take advantage of that.
It'll end up going out of bounds, last touch by BYU, but across the end line, so an Oklahoma State goal kick, as here's Gordon just booting one as deep as she possibly can, trying to put on the head of an Oklahoma State player. It's headed onwards by Nicole Ray and deflected a couple times, ends up back at the feet of the junior. She sends it up the left wing and attacking a good run here by Logan Hisler, trying to win the ball. She could perhaps win the ball, and the referee's going to say no, rather. She kicked that out of bounds, and it'll be a BYU goal kick. Hernez will try to build it up from the back with 37:19 left on this counting down clock on a relatively sunny day in Kansas City, Joao. We had some pretty brutal weather last time out. We had a severe weather warning on the last match day. The games had to be moved up. They were moved up again today for severe weather later in the day. But right now, the sun is out. I'm not hearing any birds singing, but it certainly is nice, bright, and shiny here in Kansas City.
Nice, bright, and shiny, but freezing.
Yeah, well, the Arizona native probably isn't used to the Midwestern weather. It's a 53 right now. Yeah, they don't have cactuses out here, so it's hard to adjust from the Tucson climate for you, Joao, where you're from.
I am the only cactus in a 250-mile radius.
Yeah.
It is. Wow.
Not a lot of Arizona natives up here. When we talk to people, when we talk to locals, asking them for stuff to do, we tell them we're from Arizona State. The first thing they say to me, as the free kick from BYU from nearly halfway swings into the box and will trickle out and be scooped up and collected by Gordon. She'll look to push it up the field for the Cowgirls. The first thing they say to me, they say, wow, so you're probably not used to the heat. And I, of course, respond, the proud East Coaster that I am, I say, well, rather, I'm from Philadelphia, and this weather is quite normal for us around this time of year. But you, my friend Lara, I feel for you. Your whole life, in Arizona, Dallas, and California, and the hot climates, nice, warm climates, suddenly coming to the Midwest. Welcome to the Midwest, buddy. Welcome to it. I know our third partner me here, he's got some Ohio in him, so he's probably used to this kind of Midwestern, sunny cold. But nonetheless, I'm sure when you see sun, you expect warm weather.
I'm getting used to it. I'm trying to get used to it here. Little by little.
Hey, that's what you got to do. A couple more match days left. By next Saturday, you'll be all dressed up in a parka, ready to eat some Kansas City barbecue, all used to this Midwestern climate. As the Oklahoma State holds possession for a couple minutes, just building up in the back, trying to push it forward. Eventually, it trickles out of bounds close to the corner flag, kind of in between the corner flag and the end of the BYU defending third. So it'll be a Cougars throw as they'll try to work it up the line. 35 minutes left in this game. The Cougars lead 5-0. After 4 first-half goals and 1 to immediately open the second half, fans on both sides really trying to stay warm, wrapping themselves in some blankets as they have to sit in the shade. But the Cougars will take another throw, and this time closer to the halfway line after a deflection or two.
And really, I think BYU is just going to try to run on the clock at this point. They haven't been as aggressive. I say that as they've already scored this half, but they haven't been as aggressive as they have been. Really, now they're just holding the ball. They're touching within each other, and they're still they're trying to make Oklahoma State a little impatient here.
Pineda now gets it for Oklahoma State. She's operating from the middle of the field looking for options. Swings it wide. Finds the feet of Molly Briner, who gets it back to Pineda. Pineda now trying to move her way up the right sideline. Takes a couple touches. One defender to beat. It's Gardner, but she can't. Her through ball goes a little bit too far, and it's collected by Lynette Hernez for BYU. Hernez lets the ball sit at her feet for about 4 seconds before picking it up. As we're now inside of 34 minutes left to go here at CPKC Stadium, where the Cougars lead the Cowgirls 5-0 on this Saturday, first Saturday of November 2nd. Oklahoma State wins the ball back now, trying to build it up to the edge of the BYU attacking third, but a through ball is just a little bit too long as Allie Gardner will pick it off for the Cougars and send the BYU attack the other way. It's at the feet now of Cromanhook. Cromanhook, one of the stars of the first half with 2 goals and an assist to her name. She tries to send one deep to Fryer, but it's just a little bit too long. Controlled and pushed forward. Chloe Joseph looking for options. She puts it up to the middle of the field, just trying to put it anywhere onto the foot of an Oklahoma State attacker, but can't find a body, and it's cleared nicely by Lynette Hernez. Hernez sends it to half field. It's batted around a couple times and ultimately controlled by Oklahoma State, and now they're operating on the edge of the BYU attacking third, but an immediate turnover, and here comes Cromanhook back the other way. Her pass is then intercepted. Pineda now with it. The two teams, neither of them really holding possession exceptionally well. You got to think for different reasons, as Oklahoma State getting desperate and BYU getting quite complacent where they're at right now. It's at the feet of Boydenholt. She looks up, but ultimately will pass it back and try to find an operative on the right wing for the Cowboys. The cross swings into the box, settles around the penalty spot, but can't find the feet of anybody but Pineda, who ends up controlling it on the edge of the 18. She's kind of on the elbow of the 18. She cuts inside and tries one from distance. It's 3 feet to the left of the goal. Pineda, a good try from distance. Hernandez doesn't even dive for it, just watches it go wide. Joao, what do you think about that Oklahoma State build-up?
That's what they need. That's what they've needed here for the past 50, 60 minutes. And it's a little too late, but that's really what they've needed. They just need someone to step up and take initiative, and it seems like it was going to be Pineda, and she's been doing it well the second half.
Pineda now with it again. She puts it far out for Ray, who tries to swing it. It could have a chance, and a great save. Hernandez has tipped it up and over the box. That was a nice shot from Nicole Ray. It probably wasn't even meant to be a shot, but it was a cross from nearly the sideline from outside the 18, a shot away from distance. It goes catapulting towards the back of the net. Hernandez kind of just watches it, and then suddenly realizes, ooh, I might have to make a save here. Sticks her arm up and tips it over the back of the bar. One of the best shots on goal and one of the best chances we've seen for Oklahoma State in this entire match, as they'll now have a corner kick from the far side.
One of the best saves of today's game, too. The way she recognizes, oh, this might be dangerous, and just does the right action to get over the bar.
Pineda's swinger into the box is looking for options, kicks a couple deflections, and now will trickle to the outside of the 18. Now they're going to send it right back in, looking for more options. Pineda gets her head on it. She's all over the field right now. It's ultimately batted around, still loose. Who's got it? It's going to take a couple deflections and find the feet of Oklahoma State. Here's Hisler with it. She'll send it back. It's now with Briner. Briner looking upfield for Hisler. It just deflects off of her. The referee wants a handball, or the whistle's blown. Joao, you look to be asking for a VAR, and here it is. What did you think you saw?
So really, whenever Hoppers took on the shot, the block wasn't, the hand of the BYU defender wasn't in natural position. Her fist was on her head. Her arm was at a 90-degree angle, and it's in criteria to be marked as a handball.
Interesting. So
natural position is when your arm is next to your body.
Yeah.
Or it seems that your arm isn't in the way forcibly in the play. Her arm definitely moved in a way that doesn't seem quote unquote natural. Great deployment by VAR. I'm glad to see VAR finally being used after that call in the first half that was quite questionable with Morris inside the box. But let's see what the judge's verdict is here today.
Potentially a penalty kick for Oklahoma State. You need any kind of goal, any kind of something to get your way back into this game with 30 minutes left, trailing 5-0. You basically need a goal every 6 minutes if you want to come back. But with 30:45 left in this game, Joao, who takes this penalty? If you get it in your Oklahoma State, who do you want taking it?
2 names in mind. And they can fight over the ball if they want, but it has to be Heisler or it has to be Pineda.
Yeah. Pineda's been all over the field. She took a corner and then appeared again, just magically to get her head on the ball, put a shot on target. It was ultimately deflected. As a team on the season, Oklahoma State 3 for 4 from the penalty spot. Not exceptional numbers, not terrible numbers that you'd say that's about average numbers. A penalty kick is supposed to be about 0.7 expected goals, so about a 70% chance of making it. So being 3 for 4 isn't terrible, but only 4 attempts. You kind of would wish you saw a little bit more out of that. Hey, at least they're not Colorado, who's 1 for 4. They're not West Virginia, who's 1 for 4. They've made them. They've made multiple of them. So.
But then if you get the penalty here, you have to go against Hernandez, and that's.
Hernandez is a good keeper. She's operated well
good keeper.
Against penalties so far this season. The referee's still looking things over, unsure of what he wants out of this.
I need to see the booth calls. It's like whenever you're watching it at home on the TV, you want to see what's going on.
Yeah.
But
at this point, we can't see any angles of what occurred from where we are. They're not showing it on the Jumbotron. Nonetheless.
And now
here comes the referee.
Sitting there talking.
Looking like he has something to say. Oklahoma State giving the thumbs up from their bench. VAR. Handball inside the box. It'll be an Oklahoma State penalty and a chance for the Pokes to put themselves on the board, trailing 5-0 with 30:45 left. Gerard, you felt like that was the right call?
I feel like it was the right call. We're seeing it right here on the Jumbotron once again. She's putting her body in the way of the shot, which that's not the problem. It's the way her hand goes up. She recognizes that that shot is going high. Her arm raises once when her body is basically going down. So, I mean, it was a great call, and Pineda steps up to take it.
And Iscarre Pineda from the spot here for Oklahoma State, trying to put one in the back of the net and make it 5-1 with 30:45 left. Pineda's shot saved. The deflection has a chance, and she sends it over the bar. What a save by Lynette Hernandez, and the deflection fell right to the feet of Pineda, who could not keep it down and sent it right over the bar. It'll be a BYU goal kick, and that about tells the story for today's performance from Oklahoma State. Felt like that was a fitting end to what was Oklahoma State's best chance of the match.
I'm in shock. I am in shock. Not in the penalty. It was a great save by Hernandez. She reads Pineda very well. It's the composure on the rebound.
Yeah, the rebound fell perfectly right to the feet of Pineda, and she just sent it right over the bar. It was bouncing a little bit high, perhaps got her foot a little too far under it, but it's been that kind of day for Chris Carmichael and his squad of Oklahoma State Cowgirls. It's been that kind of day, frustrating chances for them, not necessarily every ball bouncing their way, every opportunity falling their way, and sometimes displays of perhaps not the quality he would expect out of his side. But nonetheless, here comes BYU. Fryer on the far sideline. She'll operate towards the touchline. She turns the corner and sends one into the box. It's collected nicely there by Grace Gordon. Her 5th save of the day.
And it's that's sure it'd look nice to polish it, but at this point it's a great example of the story that's been on display today.
Yeah, it's indicative of how this game has gone for both these teams. As there's a foul on the edge of the box, Fryer goes down. It'll be a BYU free kick. They're going to say indirect. It's from pretty far away. It'd be hard to make this a direct free kick anyway. Nonetheless,
you would be surprised.
You would be surprised. Crazier things have happened in this game. We've seen shots from distance go in, but Vance stands over it. She'll send it into the box. It floats towards the back post. It takes a couple deflections, and it'll go out of bounds. Last touch by the Cougars. It'll be Oklahoma State possession, and they will have a goal kick.
And look, really, it's just looking forward. BYU needs to start looking forward. They need to see how they're going to start preparing for the TCU Horned Frogs. No offense to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State originally was my dark horse in this tournament, but because they need to start looking forward to TCU. And no offense to Colorado either, but TCU is too good of a squad, and I couldn't see them going out this round.
It's been just a dominant, just riot-running performance for the Cougars as pushing up into the BYU attacking third, Caitlin Hoppers. She gets the ball back and sends a cross in the middle. It's low, loose in the box, but ultimately cleared. Nice clearance there. Sierra Pennock making her presence felt. Falls to the feet of a poke, and now here come the Cowgirls down the other way. It's Alex Morris with it. She could put one in the box. She does. Takes the deflection. She wants a handball here. They're not going to say it was a handball. They're going to say it was rather out of bounds. And it'll be a corner kick for Oklahoma State. To jog over to take it is Pineda. Iscarre Pineda, the junior from Bolingbrook, Oregon, played high school soccer at Plainfield East. Started all 20 games with 6 goals and 4 assists, including 2 game winners for Carmichael and his team this year. As her cross swings in towards the back post, as comes out and collected nicely by Lynette Hernandez.
And it's just, I am speechless. I'm befuddled. But Brigham Young playing an absolute amazing game today. And really, I think if I am Coach Jennifer Rockwood, I'm starting to bring out my substitutes. They're still at a high enough level where they can compete, keep this game, competitive, but also give rest to your starters, which is going to be very much needed, as they're going to be expected to play a full 90 in the next round.
Yeah, we're going from this game to an even more important game. That's how tournaments work. Every game gets bigger, more important, higher stakes. And so I'm sure that Rockwood's going to want to keep some of her starters' legs fresh as there's a through ball up the far sideline. Here comes Cromanhook with it. Cromanhook to operate one-on-one, puts the ball into the box, takes a couple deflections, falls to the feet of Bailey, the first chance we're seeing from the substitute. Bailey runs backwards now, controls the ball, and sends it to Strongfellow on the right wing. Strongfellow to Gardner. Gardner with it now, back to Freeman. Freeman looking at options. She's parallel with the edge of the 18. Working her way down that right side, trips, falls, but maintains possession. Ultimately shut down, though, by a nice tackle by Alex Morris, who will kick it out of bounds. It'll be a BYU throw about a yard from the corner kick.
And
going to see some subs here for BYU, just like you're about to mention.
A reverse commentator's curse?
Reverse commentator's curse, perhaps. Abby Sign will make an appearance, take off Ella Rustin for BYU. It's the throw in about 3 yards from the corner flag. Hasn't been thrown in yet, and eventually drops and falls the feet of Gardner. Gardner back to Frischnick. Frischnick gets it up ahead. Cromanhook turns, looking for options in the box. Hasn't tried the cross yet. Cuts inside on her left foot. She'll send one into the box, takes a deflection, and cleared out nicely, but not all the way nicely, by Oklahoma State. It ends up at the feet of Lucy Kessler. Kessler with it now. She'll swing. Far side. Vance. Vance plays it through. Good run here. Strongfellow with it. And she now turns it over, and here comes Oklahoma State back the other way. The Pokes will try to long through ball, but it's intercepted and then taken back the other way by BYU. Finds the feet of a Cougar, who then sends it back. It's Cromanhook with it now. She has options in the box. It's deflected and sent out of bounds. A nice tackle there. That was a defensive highlight there from Oklahoma State. One of the best plays they've made all game. Chloe Joseph with a nice play.
They needed it. They really, really, really needed it. And Joseph, who hasn't had stellar game, but it's getting better little by little, but it's just too late for Oklahoma State once again.
BYU now with it. They have an opportunity here to cross it, and they do. They send it in a low cross towards the front post. It's deflected out by Oklahoma State, and now the Pokes will boot it deep towards half field. It's taken by Bailey. She looks up ahead. She finds the feet of Addie Gardner, who will put it out wide. Freeman now. Freeman looking into the box. It's cleared again by Oklahoma State. High arcing clearance. Ends up at the feet of Alex Morgan. She's trying to take a big touch and operate her way around the defender, but cannot find the pace. The ball will go out of bounds, and it will be another Cougar throw-in this time in their defensive half.
One thing we have to realize also with games and scorelines like this, you can try all you can physically, but mentally also.
It's difficult.
It's
very difficult once you find yourself facing, a deficit of this magnitude. It's difficult mentally to kind of push, find that extra gear, find that extra herd. In fact, it's so much easier, and I think we're seeing it shown even after BYU went up 2-0. They didn't stop because they were happy with what they were. They were playing free. They knew what they were doing was working. They felt confident in their system, and they didn't lose that confidence. I feel like we've seen an Oklahoma State team that got punched in the mouth early and not necessarily, didn't necessarily have that confidence to kind of push them going forward. As the ball finds Kessler on the edge of the box, she'll look up ahead, takes a deflection, and will be cleared by an Oklahoma State defender before finding the feet of Summers near half field as BYU will go again.
And really, it's rinse and repeat. It's rinse and repeat for BYU, and I feel like right now would be the right time to experiment something different too. If I'm head coach Rockwood here for BYU, but obviously she has 30 years of experience too, so I can't really
it's hard to
give my manners on that. 455 wins to her name. My greatest respects for Coach Rockwood.
Rockwood been with the BYU program for 30 years. It's her third decade as head coach. There's a turnover. They're going to say offsides. There was a turnover and a good chance for Oklahoma State. Alex Morris running through on goal, but they're going to say she was just a yard offside. I'm not going to lie, Joe. I saw a deflection there from a BYU player, which should render that offside meaningless and give Morris a chance to break for goal. The ref did not agree.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. But yes, I think that I thought the exact same thing, Luke.
And a chance here. Here's Pineda attacking down the middle of the box. Puts the ball down, chops inside, but is met with 3 defenders and not a lot of support from her attackers as BYU will get it and clear it. And now it finds the feet of Vance. She's operating with her back to goal. Now gets it back towards the edge of her defending 18. Oklahoma State pressing high, but not necessarily sending bodies on the attack as there's a turnover. Here's Alex Morris with it. She's on the edge of the 18. Trying to put the ball in the middle of the box. Takes a big touch, but can't run through the BYU defense. Stonewalled there. A continual nice play by Cronenhook. As now it's Joseph with it. She gets it free, and a foul is called. They're going to say Joseph was fouled. So it'll be an Oklahoma State free kick from, I would say, a few yards short of what one would consider the attacking third. They're obviously on BYU side, a few yards past the edge of the center circle. On the far side, they're going to try to put it in the box here, perhaps get a lucky deflection or two. As the Cowgirls looking for something, anything with 20 minutes left in this one. It goes into the box, and a nice save is made by Lynette Hernez, who just collects it, cool as you like, calm, showing in her leadership, her college experience. The sophomore transfer from Washington State does it again for the Cougars, who lead 5-0 with 20:26 left in this half.
As cool as a cucumber. Now, I sort of got nervous for Hernez there because when I saw her grab the ball, it was with the last 2 fingers
with her
on
pinkies.
her glove. Yeah,
she
with
was
her
pinching it
pinkies.
between her pinkies.
Almost pulled off a Danish save, just like Peter Schmeichel there, but luckily got just enough on there. If not, Briner was right in front of goal, and I don't think you can miss from that distance. I'd hope you don't miss from that distance.
Still one of the better chances we've seen from the half from Oklahoma State as the BYU throw-in goes a bit long and is controlled, and now here come the Cowgirls. Morris, that was Alex Morris that is, passes to Pineda, who works it towards the outside. It'll fall to the feet and now be swung into the box. Goes a little bit long, and now it's Morris again here on the far side. Morris turns on her inside foot. She could be tripped up and go down. She eventually goes down, but the ref's going to say ball was gotten. No foul. As Oklahoma State, the clearance falls to their defender. That's Molly Brenner with the ball. She now puts it up ahead, and here we go, attacking come the Cowgirls once again as the ball intended for, who was that, Reagan Morris, is just a little bit too short, and she's turned over by a nice defensive move by Krishnik, who continues to play every minute for BYU this season. The chop inside, and now here come the Cowgirls once again. Pineda with it. She turns, looking to reverse field. It's at the feet of the Cowgirls. They try one from distance, and it's saved. A nice shot from distance, one of the first looks that Ellie Jeffries had on goal. No goals to her name yet, but the defender has started 20 games for Coach Colin Carmichael in 2024. Her shot is collected nicely and saved by Hernez, who will push the ball downfield.
Now, looking at the stat board here, BYU's efficiency has been peak. It's been to the max today. If someone were to look at this game from the outside, they'd say, well, they've had similar amount of shots. Like, what went wrong for Oklahoma State for them not to have a goal, for them not to have more shots on target? But BYU has executed their game plan to perfection today, and no stat can explain that. You'd have to sit down and watch the game to see what BYU has done today.
Or even sit down and listen to us as we have described just the monstrosity of a performance from BYU so far today. 5 goals for the Cougars, 4 coming in the first half, 1 coming to start the second, and then a nice save made on the penalty just a few minutes ago as the throw-in from the box goes off the shoulder of Aaron Bailey and out of bounds. They're going to say a goal kick. Ref unsure of potentially what the call could have been, but he's going to settle on a goal kick. Bailey, getting extended run, getting extended action, hails from Layton, Utah, attended Layton High School. As we're going to see a goalkeeper switch here, as Lynette Hernez is cheered off the field, and Kelsey Hoops will make an appearance. They're probably trying to keep Hernez healthy. She's played excellently today and excellently all season, and Coach Jennifer Rockwood is going to really, want her for that next game against TCU. Cowgirls now moving it up the field. Ball is in the middle of the field, takes a couple deflections, but ends up back at the feet of a attacking Cougar. As BYU now switches the field, it falls to Pennock. Pennock looking for options. She plays it through. Now back to Pennock. She works her way up the middle of the field, trying to find a BYU attacker, but it finds the feet of Alex Morris. Controlled then by Ray, who will put it out to the far side. Now here's Reagan Morris with it. But Reagan Morris's touch is a little too strong, and it'll be BYU ball. Coming back the other way, Fryer. She's looking for options, gets it to Pennock in the middle of the field. Pennock tries to play it outside, but a nice tackle made by Joseph. She continues to get the ball, and you're going to say she was fouled. Joseph bringing the aggression here with 16-16 left in the game, and BYU leading 5-0 over the Oklahoma State Cowgirls. As the Cowgirls will have a chance here just from a little bit past the center circle to send the ball into the box once again. We saw a chance like this, have potential earlier as they will play it short and try to look for a closer cross. The ball is whipped into the back post. Up goes the save, and it's just a little bit wide. A chance there. Hoops could have gotten her hand on it. She just is a little bit under it, but the pass goes a little bit wide. As we see some substitutes for BYU. Sounds as if coming on will be Mia Curry, and Mackenzie Vance will come off. No relation to Stephen Curry as far as we know here in the broadcast booth, but nonetheless, we'll see if she can, make something from distance happen, perhaps push the BYU lead to 6 goals with 15:22 left in this one. As the Cougars continue to build it up, Curry with it now. She sends it up ahead. Here's Bailey. Bailey looking for options. She gets up ahead to Fryer. Fryer takes a touch, but is defended nicely by Joseph, who is really making her presence felt here in these last 20 minutes, trailing 5-0 as a member of the Oklahoma State University Cowgirls.
And I know you were talking about aggression earlier with Joseph, but once again, I sound like a broken record. It's too late.
It does feel like too little, too late.
It's too little, too late. If you show that aggression from minute 1, I don't think you're down 5-0.
I agree.
With all due respect.
I agree. This, if you couldn't tune into the first half, we saw 4 goals in the first half, including one just a minute and a half into the game, which BYU was on the front foot from the start. And frankly, Joao, you and I both kind of agreed on this. We were talking about at halftime. It seemed like after scoring initially, BYU just kind of stunned the Cowgirls and just left them kind of looking at themselves like, wow, what do we do here? And the Cougars just continued to pile on, and now they lead 5-0 with 14:08 left in the game. As there's an attack, here's Reagan Morris. Could have one from the side of the box. She does, but it's deflected out of bounds. It'll be an Oklahoma State corner kick. As the Cowgirls are looking to get a good chance here with 13:56 left in the half and trailing 5-0 to BYU.
It would be huge for Kelsey Hoops, the first backup goalkeeper to play in the 2024 Big 12 Soccer Championships, to register a clean sheet. Could you imagine what that would be as a backup keeper, getting the last 20-30 minutes and not getting scored on?
It could be a big morale booster for her going forward. Nonetheless, we'll see what the Cowgirls can do here as we have a substitution. Coming on to the field for Oklahoma State, Taryn Thibault. Coming off is Kaylin Hoppers. Hoppers, the freshman from Dallas, has many years remaining in her Oklahoma State life as she's welcomed to the bench with applause and hugs from her coaches as she will likely check out for the final time this season for the Pokes. As the corner kick here could be swung in by Pineda. It is looking for options, drifts to the back post. The header is just a little bit wide. Molly Briner got her head on it. She scored a goal from a corner kick already this season, but her shot goes a little bit wide for Oklahoma State, as we're going to see a BYU substitution. It'll be Cromanhook coming off after just an incredible performance from her. Josie Shepard will replace her for the Cougars. Joao, what did you see at a Cromanhook today that impressed you so much?
Cromanhook, first of all, her positioning was exceptional today. It was stellar. She knew where the ball was going to be at what moment. She put herself in the position to receive a ball, to give a pass. Her field vision is insane, commanding the field, such as players like Toni Kroos, such as players like Luka Modric, who can control your tempo, and then overall just her finishing. You can receive the ball in those moments, but can you put it in the back of the net? And Cromanhook lifts her hand and she says, I can do it. And she has been absolutely phenomenal today and should be good for the Cougars. for the duration of this tournament.
BYU going forward. Neff with it now. She gets it to Pratt. Pratt puts the ball into the middle of the box, takes a couple deflections, not settled by anybody yet, as it's then cleared out of bounds by Oklahoma State. That'll be Nicole Ray taking care of business at the back end, as we see 2 more substitutions for the Cougars, just trying to work the starters off the field at this point.
Just phasing them out.
It'll be Latana Akinaka and JC Wood coming on for Allie Fryer, and that seems to be Aaron Bailey. As we enter the last 12 minutes of this match in the second round of the Big 12 tournament. BYU 5, Oklahoma State 0 in what has been a dominant performance by the Cougars here in Kansas City on this sunny morning on November 2nd. But here come Oklahoma State trying to operate their way forward. Unfortunately for the Pokes, Reagan Morris's touch is a little bit too heavy and the ball will drift out of bounds. Nevertheless, the ref says it was last touched by BYU as Morris is subbed off.
If I speak, I'm in big trouble, just like how Jose Mourinho once said. I don't know. There's just been some calls have been great. There's other calls that have been missing. I don't know. How have you seen it, Luke?
I felt as if this game has been fairly refereed. It hasn't really, to me, seemed like it's impacted the outcome much. I think if we're in a 1-1 game and these calls are being made, I think both sides, when they complain, have a better chances. A turnover and now a chance here. Going down the field, Joseph turned it over in the back line, but it's kind of controlled and ended up pulled back out, and BYU's going to build it up from the back here. They send it towards the box. Meekinen with it. She gets up ahead. Here's Neff. Neff turns it over, and now here comes Oklahoma State back the other way. Clamoring for a foul. The bench will get it, and the ref will call it. Joe, I feel as though the refereeing's been all right. It's been serviceable. I don't think it's added or subtract any goals or detract from the score we have right now. I think that could really firmly be due to how well BYU's been playing, especially considering they were up big early, and so the refereeing was mostly rendered obsolete the second they went up 3-0. Nonetheless, I think you're going to want a little bit more consistency from both sides. I feel like both benches have been complaining that they're not getting the calls they want, which is fair. I think sometimes they haven't been. But right now, Oklahoma State's going to try a free kick to put the ball into the box, takes a couple deflections. Still up in the air on the edge of the D, and it's cleared. No nonsense, but BYU still with it now. Going to have to clear it again. They do, but it's deflected off the leg of Oklahoma State's Taryn Tebow.
I just think I don't know. I get what you're saying with the score, but I think regardless of the score, there has to be integrity. I don't think that the integrity has been violated, but I think there's been a couple of calls that could have been fixed. But still, I don't know. It hasn't been great, but it hasn't been bad, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think it hasn't impacted much of the game, as though there have been a couple calls that one could argue. As speak of it, Akinaka is called for the fouls. It'll be another Oklahoma State free kick, this time from the edge of the attacking third, close to our near sideline. They're going to try to swing it into the box here. Sent in. Drifting to the back post. It's deflected back out, and it'll be taken. Here's Ray Nicole with the ball now for Oklahoma State. She's looking for options. Nicole. To the backside now. Graham. Graham sends it in. It's deflected and back outside the box. And they're going to say offsides. The intended target for Oklahoma State was offsides, and she got her head on the ball. So it'll be a free kick from, I would say, 2 yards past the 6-yard box. Basically like a slightly shorter goal kick for BYU. And Kelsey Hoops, who has yet to concede and yet to make a save, so she's still on for that clean sheet. And was her first action in a month for BYU in just replacing, not even replacing, but just taking the spot of Hernez, who was given a breather and a rest for the remainder of the matches. It's a big touch by BYU that drifts out of bounds. It'll be an Oklahoma State throw-in from their defending end on the far side. Morris takes it, but her passes touch a little bit too heavily, and will come back to the feet of BYU now. Here's Neff with it. Neff operating up the field. She's then pickpocketed from behind. Turns it over, and now Aubrey Wagner with it. She cuts back, looking for options, but Neff makes a nice recovery play and tackles Wagner, puts the ball out of bounds. Oklahoma State will retain possession through the throw-in. Ball trickles to the middle of the field. Now it's a turnover, and here comes BYU. Pennock looking. She's continuing to find nice channels and options up the middle of the field. Shepard with it. Shepard content to stand on the ball. BYU content to just hold possession here, as it'll come to the feet of Krishnek, who is still in, determined to play every minute of every game for this team. As the run forward being made nicely and the through all played. It could find the feet here of a BYU attacker, and it does. It could be Lucy Kessler with it. She's looking for options, but she soon turns it over. A nice defensive play there made by Oklahoma State. But the deflection on the tackle finds the feet of MNF. She's now on the far side operating. She sends it to the far side through ball. A chance here. Tylee Pratt puts one in the box. No, it's deflected. Will trickle out of bounds, and it will be a BYU throw-in from a yard shy of the corner flag on the near side.
And slowly, little by little, this game is dying. But BYU is still attacking, and really, with the sheer amount of substitutions today, I think that's what separates the good teams from the great teams here.
Pratt tries to bend one in from distance, but it goes a little bit wide and high of the net and will rattle its way into the bleachers under the high V sign in the supporters section of CPKC Stadium. That was kind of the first time it felt like Gordon had been called in action in a long time. She made a couple saves in the first half, was scored on early in the second half, but was kind of staying in mind on her own business back there for a while, as this game has lost a lot of its aggression on both ends. But her goal kick is settled around the center circle mark by Neff, who pass it back to Krishnek, who will now just work the ball around. It ends up at the feet of Shepard. Shepard looking for options up the field, finds them, and now BYU's operating a wide again after a nice pass from Pennock. Put one into the box. Here's Curry with it. Mia Curry with her back to goal, gets it to the edge of the 18. The Cougars trying to work the ball around. The potential, they were looking for Frischnecht, try to get the defender a chance going forward, but now here come the pokes as the touch is taken a little bit too heavily, and there to clean it up as MNF, as BYU will retain possession once again.
I feel like the person I feel for the most in this situation is going to be Molly Briner, the Oklahoma native for Oklahoma State senior, and this isn't a good way to this isn't a good way to wrap off your senior season.
Definitely going to be it's going to be a hard talk in the Oklahoma State locker room. It always is, when a team's season comes to a close. But this team fought hard, and they had a very, very memorable first-round win against Cincinnati, one that I'm sure they'll talk about for a long time, no matter what happened in this game. I mean, trailing by 2 goals, 15 minutes left. He scored 2 in the last 15, as there's a nice through ball, the best build-up play we've seen yet. And now with it, Nicole Ray towards the edge of the 18. She could operate, and she does. Cuts inside, now towards the touchline, sends one into the box. It's deflected away. Nobody really there, nobody really home for Oklahoma State as Avery Frischnecht with a no-nonsense clearance. Ball way out of bounds in favor of BYU, and they're going to throw it in from close to the center line.
And really, it's just BYU. It's just BYU touching. I feel like Oklahoma State, on many opportunities today, especially when they've had somewhat of a build-up, they've taken too long on the touch. They haven't given the pass at the right time, or simply they've taken too long to give a pass or to distribute the ball to a teammate.
Perhaps a lack of urgency early on from Oklahoma State. One of the reasons for today's score line is we're inside of 4 minutes now to play here at CPKC Stadium in the first game of the day. It's BYU 5, Oklahoma State 0 with 3:45 left in this one. Oklahoma State 12 shots today, 4 on target and 5 corners. BYU 1 less shot, but 5 more goals, including 9 shots on target to Oklahoma State's 4. But here come the Cowboys, looking for a late one to add their names to the score sheet. That shot from distance takes a deflection and trickles towards the near post, but it's scooped up and handled nicely by Kelsey Hope. It was a good chance there. Lexi Lee got her foot on it and really put the laces through the ball, but unfortunately was met with a deflection. Here's Summer with it. Turns it over, and here comes Morris. Alex Morris looking for options. She chops her foot, turns back, now heads towards the touchline. Another nice fake shot there. She tries to send one into the box, but it's deflected and left just a little bit short. Controlled by Curry. She's looking for options now. She's with Pratt, who sends it up ahead. Takes a couple deflections. It'll be a throw-in for BYU. Curry is going to throw it in. She's going to look for J.C. Wood up ahead, but it doesn't necessarily find her. It ends up back at the feet of Curry. Cougars building it up now. 2:35 left in this one. They lead 5-0.
And BYU still at the forefront, not with that much intensity, but at the same time, it's a little bit more difficult for the Cougars here. A lot of substitutes on the field. Obviously, the chemistry isn't going to be as strong as the starters, but still, they're still touching. They're still looking, and honestly, you know, they're trying to run down the clock, but it wouldn't be impossible to see them score again. They just touch well. They support each other well, and Oklahoma State hasn't been able to stop that, and I can't see them being able to stop that.
Oklahoma State's build-up is ultimately ended by a pass weighted a little too heavily. That'll trickle out of bounds. We have 1:44 left in this first-round match here at CPKC Stadium in beautiful Kansas City, Missouri, on the banks of the Missouri River. It's BYU 5, Oklahoma State 0. And what has been a just incredible performance from BYU, certainly setting up what could be a fantastic match next round against TCU, or could be against Colorado should the upset be sprung, as there's a foul. It's going to be called on Mackenzie Graham of Oklahoma State. She sent Tylee Pratt to ground. Pratt gets up, limps away, and BYU will have a free kick from inside their inside Oklahoma State's defending half. It's BYU's attacking half. A minute left here in CPKC Stadium.
Final minute of the match. Final minute.
Bodies being sent into the box. Frischneck is up there. I'm sure she's trying to hunt a goal here. Senior leader is going to want something to her name to show for her great performance today. The free kick is left a little bit short and booted the other way by Oklahoma State as the ball is now loose. It's being kicked around as the through ball is played nicely. Here's Pratt with it. Pratt towards the end line. Was going to dribble into the corner and send it back. The turn for the Cougars, and they're going to try to switch the field slowly. Rotating towards the middle. Pennock sends it into the box. There's nobody there, and it's cleared away by Oklahoma State with 20 seconds left to play. Some smattering chants of "Let's go Cougars" being heard all the way up here in the broadcast booth from the far end of CPKC Stadium as BYU will just dribble out the clock with 8 seconds left in this one. A dominant performance for the 4-seeded Cougars. They put 5 past Grace Gordon and the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Joao, what led to a BYU win today?
Everything. I mean, everything. From the goalkeeper to the attack. The goalkeeper, Ernez and Hoops even, were great. They knew when to come out. They had a couple of saves each, and really the defense was stellar. They moved as a unit. They were able to clear the ball. They were able to, handle those shifty wingers in Alex Morris and Reagan Morris. The midfield, they would recover balls. They would play up the mid very well. And then finally, your final third. Your final third was explosive down the wings, and that just really helped them to get across inside the box. They recognized Oklahoma State's defense as a weakness, and they kept on dishing balls, and if it wasn't cleared out by a defender, it was either cleared out by the goalkeeper, and that's whenever your players such as Kromenuk came in and just wrapped up business.
A dominant team win for BYU, excellent in all facets of the game. As they dance to celebrate, they will be moving on to face the winner of Colorado and TCU. That'll do it for the first game of the day. For my partner, Joao Lara, I am Luke Lendler. Stay tuned with us because we've got that TCU-Colorado game coming up next on Blaze Radio.
I thought I released a good album until Naughty Step said it was bad.
I hear this project and I am frustrated.
I better listen to Blaze Radio.
Hi,